If I click this little thing, this is our new uh, little situation that tech did to me. I can see what people say. So first of all, wanted to know more about the manager. I don't know what that means, actually. Lost my first game and won some others after. We soon figured out that I could beat him with knight odds. We are currently 18-9 in my favor, but the guy prefers to play Brits, so we don't play as much. This graduation just to close the year. I haven't had a lot of time to dedicate to chess in the past month, but I can't wait to start the new training regimen. A lot of interesting books in the 1700 cohort. Now, there's something about here about a manager. Do I understand it? It's something. It's something. It had to do with the last graduation, I suppose. But now, first thing we just want to, he's got us to his manager. This is all about his manager, dude. All right, hold on. So, this doesn't tell us much about the manager. He's got a manager, though, and they're in a death struggle. This is a fantastic looking heat map. I mean, this thing looks great. This thing looks great. Yeah. So, his PR survival matches his rating. Clubs. European, okay, looks great. He's got a manager over there. Activity, that looks fine. Gibbs. Now, I want to know which one is his manager. You know? All right. We're going to click on this one. Now, notice, these are all, it seems like, games that are online. We prefer an OTB, but we're going to click over here. Okay, so first question. All right, we're going to show this time graph here. Yesterday, I forgot to get off the time graph. Oh, man, they were so upset at me. This looks fairly reasonable. All right, now we're going to go game review, and we'll start. Our champion is playing the white pieces. So far, so good. Obviously funky. Actually, and I like this note, deviating from the main line, but mostly moving the bishop again. Now, you play bishop g5. Well, that's maybe not so bad. You talk about bishop g3. It is an interesting question about what you should do here. It's certainly the case that if he has to take on c4, as they do, then that vindicates bishop g5, right? Okay, I'm going to give it, I don't like to move it twice, but I feel like I might just allow it this time. I might allow it this time. Okay, so snip, snop, that's good for you. Good. Okay. Black is taking forever, and you play a4 here. Okay. Now, I definitely don't think there's any way the guy could be equal anytime soon, because, yeah, like in this variation you give, queen e2. Right away, I mean, d4, you're doing great. You're doing great. Okay, but that said, it's an interesting question. Should we play a4 or not? The other interesting move, of course, is what about Mr. e4 directly? And to my mind, the guy's probably going to have to play e5. And one of the nice things then is if e5 is forced, then we already can say, oh, then our bishop really does belong here. Because at the moment, it's not clear that the bishop belongs here. But in this position, it seems like it is. Sample variation could go b5, b4, e5, takes, and maybe we just take it, and we say, better for us. It's a little complicated, but we can say better for us. Okay, now why am I opposed to a4? Because a6 is more valuable to black than a4 is to you. that makes sense. Because a6 is controlling like the b5 square, which you might want to use at a variety of points. So now rook e8, that looks slow to me. The problem with rook e8 is not only, I get it, he wants to play e5, but if he wants to play e5, he should probably do it directamundo. Because when you play e5 now, then the bishop knows what it's doing. Right now, the bishop doesn't know what it's doing. Right? Okay. So rook e8, you play e4, good question. And now the guy must play e5. And you're thinking about queen b3, rook e7, and you say this is clearly better for white. Okay. Okay, good enough for me. Yeah, it looks good for you. Yeah. Still, if he doesn't get his bishop out, this is horrendo. Now, you got some interesting moves here. You take, and I don't like that move. Why are we releasing the tension? You talk about queen e2. Queen e2 certainly makes a lot of sense. There might be other things too, but like after queen e2, you're just on top of this guy. I think also, we got to say, e5, it's hard to imagine there's something wrong with e5. That looks just like a power move, you know. Yeah. So when your opponent plays nasty like this, we definitely don't want to take. And a lot of black's grief. Well, let's talk about his griefs. First, we have the tempo. They owe us time. This rook no longer makes sense. It's all a crampy mess, right? So even if it's your move here, we gotta. I mean, if it's black's move, we still gotta believe in black. I know you're terrified of the knight takes e4 thing, but look, his position's a mess. So before we even talk about what you should do, we're gonna talk about what you don't do. And what you don't do is you don't take that knight, because that helps relieve the tension in black's position. I hope that makes sense. Now, in a lot of ways, this kind of situation is what you could call maybe the next level of chess skill, because we're dealing now with space, right? And the metaphor I like is to send your kids off to college. So when you send your kids off to college, that bathroom that everyone's trying to use, and here the bathroom's like the D7 square, it gets a little freed up in the morning, you know. White's still better, but that bathroom's freed up. People can move around a little bit more. Right? Queen e2, and now c5 looks very testing. b6 makes some sense to me too. Okay, c5. Rook fd1. Snip, snap. Queen c7. I think black might be surviving. Okay, and now knight f8 looks a little passive. b6 or knight c5 seem indicated. Okay, knight f8, passive. Again and again, this guy's playing passive. However, notice the problem you have is your bishop on c4 doesn't really know what its life is like or about, you know? Also, if he had kept the knight on d7, he prevents knight e4 because he just takes it. So this is definitely a mistake. Knight e4, good move. Bishop d7, and you plant it. And he says, I don't care. Now you talk about bishop a4, b3, but I just want to point out, like in this position, that might be compensation. I would call that practical compensation for black, because the bishops are strong. Okay, so he does this. Maybe he can. b3 now. So the interesting issue is that he should consider sacking the exchange with bishop a4, I think. b3. And now knight g6. And I'm with you. Bishop c6 looks correct. And you say h3, rook d7, knight h4. But look at this knight. It doesn't want to go here. So the thing you got to understand is, in this position, both of these pieces don't know what they're doing. I don't know what knight h4 does, for example. I don't get that one. So we need a plan here. It's not easy. It's not easy to figure out what to do. Maybe h4, h5 to say your knight's not welcome on g6, just to give yourself a little space over there, give yourself a little space. At some point, I think I want to triple on this bad boy over here. Okay, so knight g6 was played. Bishop d3. I kind of like this move because that bishop didn't know what it was doing. And now blunder. Well, I know. Yeah, it looks like a blunder. Queen c3. That's not it. Snip, snap. And now I think you're winning because you have the pawn and your knight. Your knight, see? Remember how he was a chump before? And look at that great square he's got all of a sudden. Look at that great square he's got. All right, now look. In this next one, you played 12 seconds for the next move. And to me, this is definitely a big critical situazione. And the point is, when you play rook 4 d3, you invite the queen back to f6. And the question is, does knight e5 roast the man's coconuts, as they say? To me, it looks like a roast. So knight e5 takes, I don't know, let's just take it for one. And the idea is that now the queen cannot mess with us, and our knight is amazing. Okay, now there's a little bit of trust involved in that assessment, right? But I don't see, this looks winning. So when this happens, it's important to see that you have allowed the lady to come back. Are you still better? Yes. Knight e5, good. Rook a c8, okay. Rook f3, good. Queen g5. And here knight d7 looks much better, but we can excuse knight f7. Black, by the way, moved this all very quickly and wasn't thinking at all. h3, okay. Poor move. Simple chess. Simple chess. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. Oh, baby. Okay. So great game. Great game. And I think if we could go back and say a couple things, it would be, at this level, you're playing chumps who don't appreciate the value of time, playing moves like bishop d6, h6. And for you then, the key moment would be not to play bishop takes f6 over here. This one's the criminal. That's the criminal. No, no, no. Letting that jump out. Oh, I got myself a good coffee today. I got myself a really good coffee. Okay, so we're going to mark that. Review. Let's move on. Next up, we have Norzius, who, as you can see, grad show, please, has done epic amounts of work. Let's see what Norzius says. In this cohort, I mostly focus on endgame since that was my weakness. The heat map is motivating. I hope to make it less white and non-dojo going forward. Uh-oh. At least he's admitting to it. Let's go see his white. Oh, man. Norzius, first of all, dude, you're doing a lot of work. You're doing it. 16-15. That's looking pretty good. Oh, I remember Norzius, dude. I remembered Norzius. One question I have about the Dojo Training Program is, and Norzius makes me think about it a little bit, because I was once 19, a long time ago, consuming chess, reading all kinds of stuff, especially a little younger than 19. And we have all these great books in the program, but I think especially like things like classic game collections and annotations. I was thinking this morning, it's like, is it enough? Is it enough? Yeah. Anyways, just a thought. We'll see what Norzius is doing in terms of non-dojo work. Norzius is tactics. Okay, fine. Doing well. Clubs. Kazakhstan Dojo. Norzius, first of all, thank you for making yourself the Kazakhstan Dojo. I'm hoping the next time you graduate, we'll see somebody else from Kazakhstan here, man. So that's cool. Thank you for doing that. The KD, the Kazakhstan Dojo. All right, activity. We want to go see what this non-dojo work is. This is too little of games and analysis. And then chess club at my university. Okay, rapid tactics, blitz. Okay. Fine. You know, honestly, if I'm not going to complain about any of that. I am not going to complain. Okay. Little blitz on the side. I don't record it at all. To me, it's just a fun thing. It's not really chess. Well, you know, serious work. But you want to mark it as something you did. I don't have any problem. And then the rapid, fine. Okay, fine. I'm not complaining at all, Norzius. Games. So we want a game where you played. I'm going to guess this is a real one here. So let's click on here. Boom. Okay. Not okay. So we have times. Rated classical game. It looks like this was a online game. Let's go clock. Here's our time graph. Looks reasonable, right? Looks reasonable. And then we go game. 92. I've always never understood. Like, yeah, there's some abstract reason why they do this instead of knight c3. No one knows why, really. Good. Knight g3 mistake. Why? Because they give you time. Now you played h5 like a maniac. Yeah, that looks like a maniac move, h5. h5. Yeah, I don't think they should allow you to play h4. Good move. And now he's a terrible knight. Bishop g4. Good move. f3. Suspicious, right? Bishop f5. Thank you very much. You're doing great. And I wouldn't say it is equal. I would definitely rather be black now, for sure. Look at it. Look at that knight on g1. Where's that thing supposed to go? Bishop g5, e6. Fine. Okay. Bishop d3. And the fish says rook h5, which is really weird. Let me say, for my sensibilities, the move that I would want to do is knight d7, just realizing that on bishop f5, queen a5. So that rook h5 thing, you know, maybe is, I don't understand it, but that would be the basic move, I think, the basic Caro-Kann move, knight bd7. Because here you develop the piece. And here, I don't understand why we're doing this. Because to me, it's clear that this guy has to be developed. So if that's clear, then let's just put him here and then let's worry about the rest later. Because I don't know yet where the bishop goes. Right? We're not going to castle short anytime soon, right? So let's just leave him there for a second. Good. f4. Weird. What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? You should probably consider something like bishop f4, I don't know, or castles. So f4, no comprende. Queen c7, fine. Queen f3, more loss of time. And now you played knight d5. And whether we like knight d5 or not, what we're seeing is white is going to be obsessed with queen f2. So this whole time, all this stuff that white is doing, at first I didn't understand, but now I understand with f4. This is very important to understand what the problem is for this kind of player at this level. This player is saying to themselves, I don't know what to do. So what I'm going to do is I don't know how to fix my pieces. like castles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go after the h4 pawn because it's the only tangible weakness I can imagine. Even if he takes the pawn, though, he's going to be activating our rook, and it's going to cost him 1,000 tempi. Now, Fish says queen a5, c3, knight g4. And I just want to say that I was thinking about queen a5, and I don't know about knight g4, but things like queen d5 look very powerful to me because he's given away the light squares when he played this move. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Queen c7 is totally normal, and you played knight d5, probably fine. I think c5 also has got to be fine. Okay, that's probably not it. And then, interesting here. So one big problem here, Norzius, is bishop h4. I think what you did here, you can tell me if I'm wrong. Norzius is in the chat. Norzius, what you did here is important to think about. Look at this. You played knight e4 in 29 seconds. And when he plays bishop h4, dude is inviting just death, right? He's inviting just death. So it's definitely the moment where you're like, okay, I'm going to think about this. And the position you get is kind of interesting, but let me explain why I think it's wrong. Because just intuitively. Because when you play knight e4, what you're saying to yourself is, oh, I'm going to get this pawn on f4. But his knights are so bad, and if we take the pawn on f4, then it's complicated and everything, and then the knights do something. Right? So, so that's then the cue for us to look for other things, as you found here. Maybe that was the computer that found it. So knight e4, boom, boom, boom. And he plays g3. And my question would be, can he just castle? Could he just castle? I don't know. To me, it looks like he can just castle. Yeah. Then you give this variation. And you say, only black can be better. I don't know. The issue is, say I go here or something. Why? What's happened is you got rid of white's two terrible pieces, right? So when we go back, he deserves to lose after, even without bishop h4. Even without bishop h4, this guy deserves to lose, right? But the reason he deserves to lose is he lost 1,000 tempi, and he made his knights terrible. Particularly by pushing the pawn. So then the intuition to grab this pawn, we got to work against that intuition. We don't want to take that pawn. Okay, so here we go. Now, what's interesting to me about g3 is it's just, honestly, it's just taking more time. So here we go. Rook h3. f5 would be surprising. Queen f3, rook h3. Yeah, that seems fine for him. gf4. Let's look at your move here. Check to the miserable king. Rook e4. Good. seems correct to me. Okay. So, on the other hand, just intuitively, I would think, oh no, he can't be going into this endgame like this. No way. So again, this move G3. I want to, for everybody watching this, the problem with the players at this level is they're going to give you time. So you just look back on the last, I don't know, 10 moves, and it's like, man, hey, White, when were you going to think about castling, bro? When were you just going to, like, consider it, man? Okay. So I think this queen a5 is a nice move. He deserves death now. C3, or king f2, rather. That can't be it. And you say check. He's done. King g1, rook h4, and you talk about rook e3. I mean, this is crispy, though, for sure. This is completely over. Okay, so that was a good game. Good game for us to think about, too, because it's going... Let me just stress this for everybody trying to make it at this level. Oh, by the way, I have a course coming out that is about this. And how did I come upon this course? Because I've done this graduate show so many times. That when we go from like the level in the dojo of like 1,000 to 1,800, okay? And 1,000 dojo is like 1,250 chess.com. You're going to get a bunch of people like this who aren't going to give you material for free, but they're going to give you time as if it were free, right? And this guy's a perfect example. And I think the queen a5 move at the end is the kind of thing in the course I'm kind of like, yeah, let's so what was the idea? I was like, let's look at a bunch of positions where one person has been given time. And let's see what you do with it, because these people are going to give it to you. So if they're going to give it to you, we better start practicing how to take advantage of it. Yeah. All right, well done. And let's go to Stacer. Stacer says, grad show. I just started and I already love the structure and clarity of this program. It removes the need to decide and second guess everything yourself all the time. I also love the UI of the software. Nice, Stacer, nice. That's what we like to hear. We got a lot of people working hard. You are working hard at just beginning here too. Let's give you a follow. 1355, looking good. So, has done some tests, crushed the checkmate test. And in general, what we'll say is your tactics look to be stronger than your current rating. So that's something for us maybe to think about when we look at your games. 50 plus, Stacer. All right, buddy. Welcome to the club. And the Dutch Dojo. Nice. I'm going to just do my lament, and maybe somebody can help me with my lament. So, I played a great tournament with a bunch of GMs this summer, really good conditions, and American tournaments, dude, they generally are pretty lame, and so I have a little bit of time after Christmas, and I'm looking around. I'm like, the ones here are nasty tournaments after Christmas. Could I go play chess in a place like Holland, dude? Could I go to there used to be a Groningen Chess Festival, dude. I remember I played that ages ago. It really dates me. I think it was like 98 to 99. And I need to get out of here, dude. But I'm not finding the tournaments, and there's one in Basel. I was like, I could go play in Basel. But dude, it's like 17-hour flight, and it's a lot of money for the flight. I'm like, 17 hours for a 50-plus dude, that's just, that's too much, man. That's too much. All right, so that's my lament. If you have a tournament for me post-Christmas, that would be awesome. All right, let's get into this. We got activity. Oh, dude is doing a lot of middle games and strategy. Let's click. Oh, that's an end game. Fine. Just started, though. Just started. This is fine. Hopefully, we're going to see some games here. Boom. We got one. This is Zav's Revenge. Boom. First, we'll take a look at This is a rated classical tournament. So, the time, Well, my friends, we know what this is. We know what this is. Yeah. Played some chump online. They're not going to be able to think, dude. They're just in full distraction mode. All right, so let's go over here, the game review, and we'll get into this here. Okay. 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 Fine. I think this is fine. Castles. Bishop e7. Fine. Bishop g5. And you play queen c7. It was a little weird. A wood slip. A wood slip. I think a mouse slip. I wanted to move the queen to b6, but my DGT board registered queen c7. Maybe that is a wood slip. I hadn't thought about it as a wood slip. It's the first time I've heard of a DGT board making a mistake. I don't have any experience with myself. I did not push the queen fast enough. I immediately increased the latency, which made the issue disappear. Yeah, okay. So, queen c7. And the dude plays too fast, knight bd2. To me, the big question would be, well, what about d takes c5? How do we assess the position there? There, I'm a little worried for you. You know? I'm a little worried for you there. Okay, so knight bd2 doesn't do anything with this coconuts. You play bishop d7. Now, one thing, the safe move at this point, by the way, would be to take. I know that seems like a lame-o thing to do. But the point is, now that this pawn, this knight rather, can't go to c3 anymore, we're indicated to maybe take the thing now, right? All right, bishop b7. He's still not realizing that dc would be a hassle, castles, and he still doesn't get it. Plays e4. Okay, so here we go. Boom, 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 boom. This is what I visualized. A white rook in the center, my bishop on c6. Great, great. And look at this. This is pure chump chess here, rook g4. Nobody. You're not going to mate us, son. You don't got the juice to be mating us. No, that's an offsides rook. That's an offsides rook. And did he play it basically instantly? Of course he did. He's not thinking about this at all. Now, Tim C is talking about, now see, here it is. I'm looking at this, I'm looking at a bunch of websites, and I didn't see the Nancy one. I didn't see the Stauffer Open. I'll tell you what, though. I'm going to put this on my little list here. Where's my business? Where's my business? But to give you an example, I was looking at these flights, dude, and let's say I want to get to Nancy. It's going to be Paris. Maybe I can get direct to Paris. I can get direct to London. But then I got to get to Nancy. And I don't even know where Stauffer is, dude. I lived in Germany forever. I don't know where Stauffer is. Okay, so the rook is misplaced. Rook a d8. We're not going to complain. That's a beautiful looking move. Engine suggests f5. Maybe, but you know what? Your rook a d8. I still believe it. And I do not believe that knight e5 is equality for white. I just don't. Bishop g2, king g2, and now you play knight g6. Knight g6 suggests that you are terrified of the rook and whatever business that it can do on the g file. Let me submit to you. That rook is doing nothing. It's doing nothing. So the computer suggests f6, knight d3, f5, and knight c6, though, let's say that's the human move. And you write, I did not dare play this because of white's ensuing kingside attack. Right. And let's just say this. You're better here. You are simply better in this position. No doubt about it. What are we talking about? Of course you're better here. Now, how significant it is, well, we could talk about it. Maybe it's not that significant, but you're better. You're definitely better here. Yeah. Okay, so knight g6. Notice here, this is really important. This is because you're terrorized by this rook that isn't doing anything. All right, queen e2. The guy's just playing super fast, right? Knight takes e5. Thank you very much. Now, if you don't like queen e2, you should tell us what he should do. I think he should take the thing, and there we go. Take the thing. Here, by the way, I could imagine maybe someday being nervous for white, or for black. Some kind of h4, h5 maybe, or something. But I definitely think, this is the safe move, and the guy should be okay now. You're still better after c takes d4. Okay, so knight takes e5. And why are we better? Because we have the d file. I mean, it might even just be winning. Obviously, now it's going to become concrete. But it's very close to just being a real problem here. So he plays rook b1. And you talk about b3, and the engine says I'm just a tad better after b4. Okay. One thing I would say, just from the white perspective, is whatever happens here, white must come up with a way to activate this rook. It's not even a question, right? So if we play b4, it's going to be with the same ideas of rook c4. So you could start, for example, with rook c4. Is that the best? I don't know, but I'm just saying that's the kind of thing that white needs to think of, because this rook needs to do stuff. So, for example, b6, b4, right? That's the kind of thing that he needs to be dreaming of. Now, one reason that b4 maybe is better is on rook c4, maybe we could do rook b2, rook c5, and now f6. And that might be an exclam. It's still going to be hard to pull this off. For example, pawn, check, here, and then I hold and I say, maybe I'm going to live through this. Yeah, go ahead and post the links. I'll check it out after the show for sure. Okay, so rook b1, passive. Rook d8. And here, I think you probably missed the idea of f6. b4. Good move. Good move. And now he is activating his rooks. Really, both of them. C takes, and now a moment maybe to reflect. Maybe to reflect. But he does not reflect and plays the miserable rook takes b4. Of course he's got to do this rook. Why? Because that rook is the turd. But you can see here that when he does this, he's like, oh, maybe my rook over here is still doing something. No, buddy, it's not doing anything. Okay, so h5, good move. Rook c4. Simple chess, nice, I like it a lot. And now you have the better structure and the better rooks. Rook e2, very nice. Simple chess. Rook c7, good. And then look at this chump. He's like, oh, I'm going to mate you or something. No, you're not going to mate me, buddy. No, I know. f4 is also just a move which creates weaknesses. It doesn't do anything. He's just playing a little hope chess here. Bang. Good move. Bang. That ain't it. Bang. What do you want? Bang. Oh. Bang. Well, that's a nice one, bud. That's a nice one. So, couple things that I think are important. Looking for counterplay, people who are playing too fast online, and who, yeah, it's like one of the. Let's just talk about a chess bummer in terms of chess culture, right? This person might have some real tactical skill, right? I mean, they got a rating of 1568. It's not high or anything, but they're not going to do something. I know they're probably not going to hang that many pieces, but they're not thinking. So you're not like getting quality thought from this person, and so that's just a bummer. And ideally, we play people who are thinking. It's more interesting. It's more interesting to play thinkers. Yeah. One fun about this is he's talking about my Mexican friend who doesn't like, he told me that rooks in the center are shit, and that's true. That's true, man. The rooks in the center, big shit. Okay. So, this, of course, looks real nasty, though, because you're hanging your coconut. All right. So, good game. And let's move on. We got Teal. What do we got? Teal Panda, is that? Oh, we got two more left. Teal Panda's next. Oh, what does Teal Panda say? Quite over here, buddy. Quite happy with my current form. I think my tactical ability is still lacking compared to my overall level and remains my main focus. Okay, let's go see if that's true from the tactics metrics that we've got going on here. Look at all those tactics, dude. Look at all those tactics. This is great, Teal Panda. Yeah, this is cool. All right, so, okay, and we can say that this is probably fair, what he's saying. The tactics are a little lower. He's only done 2 of these tests, so this isn't too indicative. But, right, the Puzzle Rush 5-minute is a good indication, as well as the Puzzle Rush Survival, that he's not quite there with the tactics. Let's go see what he's doing with the tactics. But first, we'll check with the clubs. European Dojo, right? All right, activity. We want to look at tactics. Boom. Polgar made in 1s, made in 2s. He's doing all kinds of things here. Okay, good. And I do think that when your tactic score is below what your rating is, then it's fine to have a bunch of green in there, right? And in particular, like let's say you set yourself a goal of getting your cohorts rating of the Puzzle Rush 5-minute, right? That'd be fine. That'd be fine. Chess Aesthetic says, I graduated a few weeks ago, but the game I wanted you to review was set to unlisted, unknown to me. If you have time to look at it today, that would be great. Cheers. Well, I'll tell you what, I will. I got some time today. Oh, you know what I'm going to do, though? Click to show. The MooBot. Oh, my God. Oh, I see what's going on. Timsy also is posting. Timsy, I actually see it, and I have to allow it. But when I'm talking, yada yada, let me just click this bad boy. So I've opened it in my own little open d'échec. How come these things aren't in other, like this tournament? It's not even listed in various sites, dude. Like the FIDE site, it's not even there. Classement. How about we translate to English? There we go. First prize is pretty small. Players. Let's see players. Yeah, dude. Highest rated player is 2,200. No, so that's not what I'm looking for, man. No, wait. I take it back. They just have it all. The list is all messed up. They got a 2,400, a couple 24s. So yeah, I think it's a pretty small tournament. And then also, I want to say this link that Chess Aesthetic that you gave, I can click that. And so after this is done, I will go and look at that thing. Okay, so what are we doing here? I'm doing something. We're talking about chess tactics. And I'm hoping you still have a game, Teal Panda, but the chess tactics, fine. If you want to go for it, great. And the mate in twos, the path to freedom, my friend, right there. Let's click on that. If you go mate in twos, actually, let's go tactics here. So you need to do more mate in twos, for example. That'll help you on your quest for the puzzle rush. Let's do a little something real quick here. So we look at tactics for this. So, right, we need to do these. The mate in two is very important. These three, that's important. And here, 27 of 29. So you're close, and you're close here too. Yeah. And I would say that, especially after you hit 29, that would be a good indication for you to be like, all right, the tactics quest, I don't have to put it full front burner anymore. It's, if I hit that thing, I've hit the cohort, the needed cohort scored. Okay, so let's go games. Nothing, Teal Panda. Well, you need to put a game in, but it's time to put a game in. All right, last one before we look at Chess Aesthetics game. This is MP3 Jam. What does MP3 say? I've come back to both chess and dojo after a long break. Newfound interest in the game now that I have a community in a newly opened chess club in my area. I have to say that the new website is leagues better than the old Google spreadsheet, yeah. And I'm much more invested in training and tracking my progress through the site. In particular, the time tracking plus heat map is a motivating feature, and I'm also finding it useful for tracking my workouts. Tracking your workouts? We're gonna go look at what he's doing there. I think my biggest problem with the training program is finding time for all of the activities. My goals at the moment are to play at least 3 games a month and to average 4 hours a week in training, which we will see if I can stick to this plan. Now, if he is successfully logging his workouts, that inspired just a whole new thing for me. I got a whole thing in my head for what that could evolve into. I got a whole idea now. All right, let's go over here. All right, so MP3 Jams, he's cranking on the heat map pretty good. And you could see he joined a while back. Okay, but I think even then, I think he probably was before then, because I think it was before that we had the old Google spreadsheet and all that stuff. Okay, had a bad experience with the first tactics test. All right, clubs. Seattle, all right. So he was talking about a club. I think Seattle could have a really cool chess scene. Back in the day, they definitely did with Donaldson and Sarah Wan, a bunch of other people. So it would be cool if Seattle turned into the chess. We had the U.S. Championship back in 2000 and 2001 back in Seattle, ages ago. All right, games. We got some. This is going to be MP3 Jam, but is the top one not MP3 Jam? Let's do this one just in case the top one isn't MP3 Jam. All right, first, boom. We got to look at this. That's reasonable. No one's going to complain about that time graph. All right, let's go game review. All right, here we go. This is MP3 Jam. Okay. I'd rather play knight f3 there, but okay. Boom. And now de4, I think, is a good position for black. Knight c6, maybe bishop e7 first. Or knight f6, actually. Knight f6 was the right move. But okay. Again, I don't want to take on c6. Okay. I don't like that. This was my first big decision of the game. I like that knight e5, fe5, white has more space. really, though, what are we doing? You don't want to, when you go to knight e5, you don't want to take on c6. You don't want to take on d7. And if the guy just plays knight f6, what are we doing? I think one bummer of the position is it's hard to know how to play this position. It's legitimately hard because your bishop is so nasty. So, but d3 is the right move. We got to play d3. And it's about an equal game or something. It's complicated. So knight e5. What's wrong? Not developing. Knight f6, simple and strong. Bishop f3. We will commend you for opening your coconut there, though, again, this is not developing. So, black, I think, should consider queen c7 now, but just castles. Okay. And you play b3. And what's interesting about b3, though, is well, we have an interesting question, don't we? Like, what about knight f6, bishop f6, knight c6, bishop takes, pawn takes? And there's just an interesting question there, like maybe white is a touch better in this position. Notice when we play f4, we are blocked in now. So it would be really cool if our pawn were back here. Yeah, but this looks plausible for white. b3, though, I think now they can play queen c7 finally. They take. I think this is poor. This is liberating your rook on f1. Okay, queen c7. Bishop b2. c6, queen f3. I like this move. Fine. No, I like what you did. Now your queen is centralized. Good move. And we have an interesting position. Maybe we're a little better because of the f7 pawn. Now rook f3, that's a fancy move. That's a fancy move, man. That's a very fancy move. So whether we're right or wrong in this rook f3, we're going to say very fancy. That's fancy pants. Okay, let's look first of all at just what happens on snip. Queen f4, snip, boom, boom. And you end the variation here. It's a hot position. If I was black here, I would be interested in just thinking about what's happening. And like queen d8, I don't know what's happening. I kind of like this rook is a terror. You know, do I know what's happening here though? No. But the thing is, for us though, if we don't do anything crazy, let's say we play d3, wouldn't we want to say that we're better in that position? By the way, if we were going to do something loco in la cabeza here, maybe it would be rook f7 and queen h7. I don't know. All right, rook f3. He trusts you. He trusts you. Rook d7. Good. Bishop f8. A little passive. Okay. Rook h3. Now, I don't know about rook h3 because, well, okay. Maybe. It depends on how we evaluate your queen h4. Because if the g6 is a move that I think black wants to play anyway. Right? All right, let's it's a hard, I don't know how to, it's a hard position to play, honestly. So here, 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 and on h5 you like queen g5. I was thinking maybe on h5 you were going to think about g4 like a maniac. maybe he's got bishop e7 there. It's complicated. Okay, so we go back. Interesting position. Our problem is that our bishop on b2 isn't involved in the attack in any meaningful way. Now, speaking for myself, I really just want to play d3. I'm certain I would play d3. Got to play that move anyway. Prevents c4. Prevents rook takes d2. If I need to, someday I might want to play bishop c1. Right? So it just gives me all this flexibility. Here, it looks like to me you're going on a quest. h6, maybe h5. Queen f4, you say, is a mistake. And you like rook hf3. Why aren't we just playing d3 like a normal person? So you're saying rook d2, queen f4. No, but I don't get it. Let's say he just comes back. But rook f7, that's our move, right? That's our move right there. So, queen f4. But it's got to be said, like rook hf3, what's your intention? Right? How you want to break through? Like, you talk about rook a8, rook c8. All these moves are possible. Also, bishop g7. It's not ridiculoso. Okay, queen f4. Rook c8. I don't get it. d3. Whew. Thank you. e5. Maybe c4 here. What do you do? Rook f3. I don't get it. I get it. You want to play rook h6. And you're trying to play bishop c1. But whenever you play bishop c1, yield rook d4 kind of appears, and it's a little bit inconvenient. c4. Boom. This is very good analysis, by the way. This is great. So, I got questions. I see. Yeah. So actually, a couple things here. So when you say rook h6 is terrible, what you should see though is if you go down that line with queen takes c4, it's a miserable position for you because none of your pieces make sense. You land in this position, for example. Your rooks don't make sense. He's touching c2. It's going to be pain. Now, rook h6... Well, there's some interesting questions here. Okay. And then you're also talking about queen c5 to f8. Now, maybe that's better. So you're talking about queen c5, king h1, queen f8. But... I mean, there's the d4 question, of course. Yeah, okay, so that's what black missed. Because this c3, I don't know. Good move. And at the minimum, bishop c5, it's unclear. So if this were the choice between the other variation, I'd rather do this one, because this one's unclear, where the other one is just suffering. Uh-oh, wait a second here. Let's do this without the... This is my student, Jamil. He's calling me. He missed his lesson, the chump.
I did.
How you doing, bud?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm late today. I got caught up.
You're a terrible student, dude.
I know, I'm just the worst.
All right, so King
Like they
F1.
say, like students, like coach, right? Can you share your screen?
Can you watch this? Can you watch the business?
I can watch the business, but there's a lag, so it's always more convenient if you share your screen directly.
All right. It's gonna make my computer crash though. Boom. We could not connect. Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Okay, so here we are. This is my never do well student, Jamil, he has his best training when, like, some days he's like, all right, I'll be your slave. And then we do great training. Then other times, dude, he is not my slave. And then bad things happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, he criticized Bishop H6, but I think the milk's already gone bad. It's true, though, that Bishop H6 doesn't help in any meaningful way.
He's a rook down.
He's an exchange down, boss.
He's an exchange down.
Checkmate. My attack was close to working. Yeah. Now, a couple things about this that we want to just for you to think about for a second. It should be in this position. It's important to see the reasons why D takes E4 is a good thing for black, okay? Because you're playing with Federico, right? And Federico really needs, at some point, to push forward or to take to free the F file. Now, in the game, your opponent helps you with that, but he shouldn't. He shouldn't help you with that. And that's why in this E6 variation in my course, I gave knight F3. Okay. So that's the first thing to recognize. And this is already kind of sad, but you're not toast. And here's, don't move develop piece twice. Don't move develop piece twice. And then here, though, we should definitely take on F6 and C6 to get that interesting position. And then that's terrible. No one knows why black isn't playing queen C7. And we get this interesting position. Yeah. Okay, you went for the attack, okay? I like queen F3. You went for your intuition here was attack, attack, attack. By the way, rook FD8. Why rook AD8, like you say? Kind of like Jamil. Jamil does this too. He gets obsessed with the attack when he should just be focusing on his coconuts, and it's very hard for him just to focus on his coconuts. So, for example, here, D3. Oh my God, of course we want to play D3. But you spend 6 minutes getting real fancy with rook F3. And I think rook takes D2 is very interesting for black. So why give him the shot? Just play D3 like a normal person, right? You don't. You have the better queen. You have the better F file. You should be a touch better, right? Okay.
Also, I don't hate rook F3.
I do. It's not so much the move ruins white, but it gives black a chance, with an unnecessary chance with rook takes D2, and you're going to have to play D3 anyway. You must play D3. You're not getting out of this world alive without D3. And so it's not that it's ruined, but it's like it's already showing that black is on the wrong, white's on the wrong trend with rook F3. And then it continues with more adventures coming over here. And rook H3 in general, unless you're mating him, you're just discoordinating yourself. What's the right move? D3. Okay, good. Quad XC also agrees with me. He says they should just play D3, wants to be better. Now, I have to go back, and I have this game. So I'm going to bring a game in over here. This is from Chess Aesthetic. We missed it somehow in a previous show because it was unlisted. So we're going to do this one here. So first thing we'll do is look at the time graph. Times weren't here, so no time graph. Let's go over here then. And Dude spent 40 minutes on the first 16 moves. So when he was winning positions low in time. Now, I suspect that you, this is an over-the-board game. And, of course, it would be cool if you inputted the times. He's got a coach, I am Eric Zuda, who co-wrote D6 Against Everything. Okay, so E4. Fine. All right. So it's a 60-30 club game. All right, bishop E2. E6. Okay, castles. Bishop E7. A4. You can do all kinds of things here. I think F4 is, I don't know, A4 is fine. Let me just say and to help you think about this kind of position, I think it's important for you to see that white is up a gazillion tempi here, but that black has some long-term structural advantages. Your C2 pawn isn't participating in the fight, and he's saying that these pawns control all the entry squares for your coconuts. So in general, we need to do something with that time. We can't just sit around, because he will eventually catch up in development. Okay, so that's why A4 is probably not horrendous, but it's the wrong trend. And C6, bishop E3. Good. And here you're thinking forever on what we call intuitive moves, right? Yeah. And it doesn't, so just in general, right? The thinking forever on intuitive moves will destroy your chess. And there's no reason to think about, F4 is just an intuitive decision, right? Okay, so, King H1. Now, one thing that could be helpful is just having some ideas of how to play the position. A standard attacking idea, for example, is to play Queen E1 followed by Queen G3. In fact, if you had known that idea back here, let's see over here, a very standard variation is here, 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 here. And there's a variety of ways this can go, just as an example. Something like this, you know, with an interesting game. He's not threatening knight e4. Okay, so here we go. A4. King h1. e5. This looks suspicious to me. Good move, forcing me to make a decision and fixing the center. d5 and d6 are not weaknesses for black. Black's dark square bishop also has a line now.
Doesn't d5 help white here? Because white's pushed Federico the f1.
That's true. He's pushed Federico the f1.
Right. So wouldn't it be good for white to open up that file?
Well, first of all, e5 might be playable, and one thing actually Jamil has struggled with in the past is seeing that the idea for black is to put the big fat knight here and to say, oh, with that knight I'm okay. Now, the reason I don't like e5 is I already think black's position is fine. And to me, the simple way for black to play would be to either take first or first play bishop d7, then get ready to snip, and then play bishop c6. Totally standard play. e5, maybe. Seems unnecessary, though. Okay, you talk about rook e8. I think rook e8, that would be a highfalutin move. Maybe not so bad. All right, so you talk about knight b3, and you played knight c6. And you didn't expect b takes c6. What is the problem for white, Jamil, after knight takes, pawn takes c6?
The knight on c3 has no good squares to go to.
Thank you very much. Jamil's been trained well. Knight's going nowhere. Okay, So that's why we should rule out knight takes c6. All right. So you talk about knight b3 and knight f3. What's the first move that pops to your mind here, Jamil?
Knight d5.
Knight d5.
Knight d5 comes to mind.
Boss, you're hanging your business.
You're hitting the queen.
Yeah, but okay, so I take.
You take with the pawn.
And then I take your knight.
Yeah, you do. You're right. You're right.
Okay.
You can, yeah, well, my first intuition was to take on e5, but you seem not to like that very much.
I think fe5 is a thought.
Knight back to f3.
Why are we playing knight f5?
We could play knight f5 too.
So anyways, that's my sense of the most dynamic move for white. And the point would be, like, if snip snap, we are going to claim that the light squares are going to be a little weak for black. So I don't know, I'm going to call that an interesting position, maybe one where I'd rather be white. So that's why if I was black, I wouldn't want to play e5. Okay, so knight takes c6 was played in the game. a5, okay. Played quickly as it is logical considering my play too far. There are still 2 GM games in this position. Okay. Now the GM games, you got to be careful because especially now the databases are so corrupt with bullet games. They're just like, oh man, it's full of bullet games. So it used to be kind of meaningful. And yeah, okay, so a5.
Well, I don't think a5 is such a poor move. Jesse.
No. I mean,
it comes with a few. Well, first of all, you could consider. I mean, now obviously the pawn hangs, but you could consider knights a4 to b6. You could go bishop b6. You know.
Okay. I think rook b8 is a minor inaccuracy. And he says ef4, bishop f4, both GM games reach this position. It's important to see, though, what is the intention of whatever chump GMs played this, Jamil? What's black's next move? Let's give you that as a training position, Jamil. What's black's next move here?
Black's next move.
Yeah. Well, give it a second, Jamil. I'm going to take a potty break. Oh, I got this beautiful grapefruit thing on me. You take a moment. Any ideas?
Bishop b7.
Bishop b7. So, Jamil, this is part of your positional education. You have a blind spot here, my friend. The correct move here for black is to play knight d7.
Oh, because you want to go to e5, yeah.
Yeah. And then black is, oh, I'd rather be black. And these are the kinds of positions where, like long term, like you can just see it. It's like, oh, the knight on c3 is a chump. The bishop can go to f6 later too. And my king is just better, you know, than your king. Okay, so rook b8 looks superficial. It would be nice to have the times because then we could see, you know, if black was just blitzing or something. And now he's down to 23 minutes with bishop b6. And bishop b6 makes some sense. Queen d7. Okay. Now, question, how do we play now? Whatever we do, we should have an eye toward fixing our knight.
Mm-hmm.
Bishop d3. Okay. I'm okay with this, and I'm okay with your arrows too, because we're just saying maybe I'm gonna fix my knight here. Bishop d8. That's a chump move, I think.
Yeah. Now you gotta play knight a4, no?
Well, he plays fe5, and fe5 might make some sense too, actually. And actually, look at this. His notes are good. He says fe5, de5, and then he says knight a4 is what he should have played.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got a nice position. So let me describe this. First of all, rook b8 was dumb because it's just losing time to this bishop b6 stuff. But next of all, black needs to at least keep the knight free to play knight d7. But black doesn't understand that the knight needs to go to d7, just as Jamil did. Okay? Now, I'm making fun of Jamil. I know it's not fair. I shouldn't do it. But it's fun. Oh, Kraai, take a sip of your grapefruit juice.
Funny guy.
Okay, but in all seriousness, queen d7 was funky.
Don't change your day job, Jesse.
Queen d7 was funky, and what he's doing now with bishop d8 is he's scratching at this square, and all it's doing is enabling my knight to have a job. So remember, the whole problem with knight takes c6 was that my knight didn't have a job. Bishop d8 is calling us. It's like, oh, I can get a job. So here we go, fe5, de5, and then of course knight a4. Not even a question. Right? Bishop c5 instead. Bishop e7. I think rook e8 makes more sense. So b4. Does that make sense? No. Played after I wrongly dismissed all the other options. I was feeling the time pressure. And knight a4 is probably still a really good move. Yeah, as long as you're not losing a coconut, then this is what you want to do. Yeah. And you give... This is clearly... I'm glad... This shows you didn't look at it with the computer, because here this coconut's hanging. Which shows, though, maybe in time pressure what you were missing, right? You were like, oh, if I play knight a4, one of my coconuts is going to fall. But once you see that this comes with tempo on the queen, you know, at the minimum, you can play knight b3 back, but you probably have other moves if he takes after, but you're going to attack the queen, right? In which case, right, your structure is better, and the knight is dancing all over those dark squares. All right, so b4, incorrect. This is a nasty move because now when black takes, the rook is going to be free and the pawn on c5 is going to be weak. So he snips, he snaps. Queen e7. Yeah, queen d4. I don't know what our life is about on queen d4. It looks real bad. Right? It looks real bad. So knight a4. Knight g4. What does this look like to me? It looks like a superficial play. Yeah, queen e1, okay. And now we're just kind of holding on to our coconuts, you know? Well, as long as we hold on to them. Bishop e6. Does it? I don't know about that. Simply an oversight. Now I have good winning chances. Well, right. So he doesn't know what to do anymore. And his position can't be that bad because I don't think you're threatening anything. But yeah, if you win that a pawn, well, you're in business. Bishop e6. And then, yeah, bishop a6. And the thing to recognize from our point of view, or whoever's point of view, is unless he has something real special right now, that a pawn's rolling, friend. I mean, it's rolling. Absolutely rolling. And you write this, rook a8, bishop d3, boom, 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 and you say I was afraid of this position.
What was wrong with queen e2 there earlier?
What do you mean queen e2?
Earlier, so instead of bishop back, queen e2.
Oh, I like bishop back. also, actually, there's a variety of things we could do, but I was just showing what he was afraid of. This is his variation where he says he was afraid of it. Even stronger, though, is just bishop e2. Well, actually, bishop e2, we got to worry about knight e3. And so queen e2, if he was afraid of the other position, then he would also be afraid of this position. This is an improved version of the position we just got, because in his one is better. Here's the black is sacrificing for a rook, and yeah, he's just toast. Crispy critters. Okay, so good to acknowledge that you're afraid, and h3. Now, honestly, it still looks pretty good for you, buddy. Knight h5, he's trying to do a little fancy. Is he really doing anything? I don't think so. Now, bringing the bishop back can't be bad. You played rook f3, knight f4. I don't think he's going to be threatening anything soon. Bishop f1, beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, rook f3, bishop f1, you should be proud of that. That's a nice one. And now your opponent goes loco. All right. And are we afraid? Good question. I don't think we should be, but it's a little frightening. I'm sure in time pressure it could be scary looking. All right, what do? You play a6, the bold. Why not? I played this after 2 minutes. I guess I was trying to calculate black's attacking moves. And you talk about queen c3 here. Yeah. And you like it because it's going to have knight b6 and all kinds of stuff. Let's give your a6 move a try. I believe in your a6. f5. And you're talking about g4, rook c3. That's a nice move too. Okay. And f5 I really don't believe in. Because look, now his e-pawn is all weak. ef5, thank you very much. Bishop f5. And now you gave him a check. Now, is there a... Okay, the point of this check, I see what he's doing. He wants to say that his a7 is going to wreck him. It's going to wreck black. Okay. All right, so we have check. The basic move that I would be interested in here, if I was white, is how about the very simplistic knight b6, queen c5, a7. That'd be the first thing I'd be looking at. And there's a variety of ways for black to give us the exchange, but the problem is that it's not just an exchange. Like that black king is completely raged upon in all these positions, right? So this looks like the simple way. All right, so check to the miserable king was played.
Yeah, actually, Jesse, if you go back, can you just go back to that position where you had queen e... There, you had queen takes c5.
Mm-hmm.
Bishop c4 now.
Okay, I mean, but you see, whatever you're doing, it's complicated. He can also do it here too, Jamil. In the game too, he could play knight b6 here too. But why do you like bishop c4?
Well, I was thinking, if king h8, for example, now you go a7. Let's say he takes the...
Like this, right? Okay, all I'm saying is I don't understand why we put our bishop on c4.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Now, it's probably still winning, but it makes sense to just keep him back for a little bit from a human perspective. Again, I'm stressing just in time pressure. You want to make it simple. All right, so check to the miserable king. a7. And here he was banking on the fact that the e-pawn's going to hang. So, rook a8, knight b6, boom, boom, boom. queen e5, queen g7.
Yeah.
Now, this position still looks, I've got to say, it looks promising, even if it's pretty messy now. Your problem, though, right, is your knight a little bit offsides. Yeah, so actually, this is a great position to think about because, and this happens to everybody, by the way. So what happened is you played this a7 move back here with the very position we're going to get in the game in mind, thinking that, oh, if I crack this coconut, then I'm going to be winning. But right, it turned out to be not so simple because of this queen g7 move. Queen f6. Now, maybe black could find a better move if,
After queen f6. Okay, never mind.
because black should be saying to themselves, well, maybe there's some way for me to mess with that knight. In any case, queen f6. And then white likes queen c7. Instead, they snip. Okay. I think this is still kind of reasonable what you're doing, even if you don't like it that much. And king g7 is definitely more active. I don't dislike what you did. Okay, we can talk about maybe improving your play, but what you did is you undoubled your pawns, and now after d4 you have at least good chances to play for a while.
Then knight d7.
What, when knight d7?
No.
No, buddy, you don't want to go to the pawn endgame.
Okay.
I mean the rook endgame. Just play d4 and keep the tension.
Mm-hmm.
This knight c4 might also be a good move. By all means, we're the one playing with the coconuts here. Okay, so here we go. Knight d6. I like knight e5 better. Yeah. So he investigates knight e5. It gives it a question mark. Maybe it's a bad move, Jesse. Let's look bishop d5.
King h2.
He talks about king. Let's just look at his analysis real quick. King g1, king g7, g3. I don't know. King f6, knight g4. I don't understand what this is going on about.
What was wrong with g4?
Well, right. So if I was just playing blitz, and I want to just stress that because we want to think about the position from somebody who's playing in a little time pressure. That would maybe something like that would be my intuition.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still pretty messy, but well, we got to believe in white. Got to believe in white. Okay, so now let's go back, and now obviously we're not in time pressure, and we have an interesting question: do we feel this is winning? And how should we play? Another nice move here, Jamil, that I like a lot here. Very simple, actually. This is the move I'd do. Knight e5, I admit, was my first intuition, but I like this move a lot better. And what this does is it means that there's no entry squares, because I'll be able to play d4.
Yeah.
And there's no way for him to play bishop d5. So this is going to be pure suffering. Next move, I'll play g3, king g2. At some point, I'm going to play h4 to play on the dark squares. So my knight controls the light, my pawns control the dark. And this is pure pain. This is pure pain.
What happens if you do the immediate g4?
But why am I playing g4?
Because you want the pawns on the light squares, don't you?
No. I mean, I could, but I mean, at some point, I think I want to play h4. So go g3, king f6, d4, and now he can't really move.
And if he checks you, you just slide your king over?
Well, if he checks me, I'm going to take it.
Okay. Yeah, because you can never take the d pawn because you push.
Yeah. So maybe bishop g6 if he wants to check me, but I'm just going to go up and do my thing. You can check me. It's okay. Okay. Yeah, it's a beautiful position. This is pain. Okay, good. So we had knight d6. That's weird. h6. Okay, so what you're doing, right, and this is good, a good critique of yourself, is you're making
Playing pretty pieces.
playing with the pretty pieces, exactly. Now, g4. It's not clear I've gained anything with my knight shenanigans, but this move is wrong because it puts my pawns permanently on light squares and reduces my flexibility.
But do you not want the pawns on light squares to control the bishop?
Well, Jamil, the issue is going to be, later our king is going to want to do something active in the center, and then we're going to have to worry about like a bishop f1 smacking us. Why? So why not just put the pawns on like g3 and h4?
Yeah.
Okay. That looks weird. Weird. Uh-oh. Knight g3. Well, why aren't we... What's wrong with king e4? Oh, wait. So king f3, king e6, king e4.
Was he afraid of bishop g6 check?
I don't know.
You just go to d4.
I mean, as long as you don't give him any coconuts. If you don't give him any coconuts, the pain is long term. Yeah. Now, maybe he was concerned about something like this. Check. Here. Takes, king f5. I don't believe in this, though. Here we have both king e3 and king c4. So on king c4, you need to calculate the race. But on king e3, I think he's just suffering pure. Yeah.
Let's see. King c4. King push. Yeah. Push. Takes. Push.
It even comes with check. Look at that. Bang! So that's crispy critters.
Yeah.
So it looks like, but I'm just trying to imagine why he wouldn't play king e4 here.
Maybe it was that. Maybe he was afraid of the check.
But now it's counterplay. F5. And now,
Well, the problem is here. If it takes the e pawn, sorry, the c pawn. White takes on h6, bishop e6, and the knight's not doing it. Can't move. Right?
well, first of all, this is a big.
I guess you go back.
He's saying h5. That would be my main concern. And d4, bishop g6 is a blunder because of knight e7. But in any case, I think it would go on hg. We cannot play king takes. Oh, maybe we can actually. What am I saying? Oh, maybe we can. But okay, so then we play bishop e6 exclam. And maybe black survives this. That would be my concern. Because king c5, knight h6, that's a big coconut. And now he plays knight f5, maybe. King e3 also looks reasonable. So knight f5. All right, we might return to his king e3. By the way, great notes. This is how you learn to play an endgame.
Jesse, there's an echo when I speak for whatever reason. Chat's saying.
Oh, that's because I don't have my headphones in. That's when you call me on the fly, buddy. I don't have time to get it all set up.
Okay.
So knight g3 doesn't make any sense to me. And why not king e4? That's crispy critters. That's when the critters have gone crispy. That's it. Game over.
That's it. Chat's saying it was fine earlier. It just started now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do about it. I know what to do about it, but it'd take me a lot of grief. Okay. So, king e4 looks crushing. King d4. Oh no. King E2. Bishop G6. Uh-oh. Frisky. And they offer they do a little Drowski. Okay, so that was a very interesting endgame. Mistakes on both sides. And one thing, Chess Aesthetic, that I want you to know is even if I disagreed with some of your analysis, this is definitely how you improve in the endgame. This is the way it's done. Yeah. So that was great, man. All right, a couple things I have to, a little bit of dojo work. First, I want to go see, do we have any games in the Sensei queue? We do not. This is something you guys could submit to the queue, and I always have to check if there's something there. And then I have to also go my profile here, and I have to do yesterday and today. So I go Training Plan, and I go this one. And so today I bid about 2 hours. And what game? Oh, actually, wait. Cancel. I want to do yesterday first. So, what was it? 8. So first yesterday. And I think I did about 12. Oh, damn it. Oh, see, this is the problem. Now I have to go back, and I gotta go, oh, shit. Oh, wait a second. So if I go here, show history. All right. So what I need to do is just add the hours and go save. Great. That was actually very easy. And then I go over here to the 19, and I also add the hours, and I go up to game 18. Update. How much time do I use? It depends on the game. A lot of these Fisher games are amazing, man, and I've studied them before. Now, I just realized there was somebody back here who said they were logging their workout hours. Hold on, that was it MP3 Jam? Hold on. Tracking his workouts. We gotta go back and look at that, dude. We gotta go see how he's tracking his workouts. Activity, non-dojo. So he's doing swimming and strength training. He's logging it, dude. He's logging his swimming and strength training, man. There we go. Well, it's only 50 minutes, but I mean, he just started. So one thing, for me, I have a little app that I use. It's a pretty good app. But when I heard that he was doing this, I was like, oh, we could, of course, build this out into its own thing. I have even like a way to improve the app that I'm using. And that could be, oh man, I mean, that's asking, it's real easy for me to say that, but then the dev team has to go crazy, The dev team would have its work cut out for it, man.
Well, you always say that physical fitness improves people's chess, doesn't it?
Oh, I totally agree, yeah.
So why don't you add, some cardio as part of the dojo training course?
Well, okay, so to me, if I was going to use this thing, right, I would want it to be a little similar to my app. So what my app will do, for example, is give me all kinds, let's say just talk strength training for a second. It'll give me all kinds of things to do. Let's just take as an example, let's say the back squat. Okay. Then when I log the back squat, it'll keep a history of how much I did. And really, in a really cool way, it'll show me the percentile of where I am with other people who've logged it. So that's not going to be like everyone in the universe, because obviously it takes a special kind of monkey to use a fitness app, right? But still, I think it's a really interesting metric, because then it lets me see where I am with people on this app, and it'll show what kind of jump gets you on a percentile basis. Kind of like, let's say here with the 5-minute puzzle rush, we can show pretty clearly where you belong in terms of tactical skill. Also with our tactics rating test, also gives you a really clear indicator of where you are. So that's what I mean for how I would want the app to look. And there would be, if I was going to do it, right, if we went full whole hog on this, it'd obviously be a lot of work. And I think it would really only work too if we had a significant amount of people using it, because then we could create our own metrics for where people stand. Like let's say we have a mile test running a mile, right? Then we would have a sense of a percentile for people in the dojo, how fast they ran the mile. That's just an example.
Yeah, but that's quite cool. You could expand the scope of the ChessDojo Training Program to be a chess player's sort of life training program.
Right.
One guy in the chat goes ChessDojoLive improvement course.
Yeah. Well, and also Alex is noting that it sounds like Beyond the Whiteboard, and that's totally the app I'm using, is Beyond the Whiteboard. Yeah. Great app for the most part. And I would say if there's a difficulty with it, it does this cool thing where and this is something, honestly, I kind of have a lot of, because I use that app a lot, I think a lot about how the dojo works. And the other senses are kind of on board with this. So it gives you a bunch of different kinds of physical measurements and then gives you a total score. And then you can see where you're weak and where you're strong, right? So, and in the chess world, right, we have, for example, these buckets. We have tactics, games and analysis, endgames. And then eventually it would be really cool if we gave the users a rating for each of those categories. And we're kind of close to it, right? We give a tactics rating, for example, right? The endgame rating would be is if we could create a rating system for inner dojo that then would rate the sparring matches, and then that you could get a rating from that as an example. In any case, in this app that I'm using, I feel it's got too much, like it gives a lot of weight to, say, Olympic weightlifting. And to me, Olympic weightlifting is just kind of bullshit, It's nice. It's nice, but it's not really, it's like a ballet skill, It's not like a test of your physical fitness. It's also got a couple categories that don't really make sense to me. Whereas,
so what would be a test of your physical fitness then?
if I was going to do the site, if I could design it for myself, there would be an endurance category, there would be a speed category, there would be a stamina category, and there would be a powerlifting category.
No, you just said that there'd be powerlifting.
No, I said powerlifting. I didn't say what they want is Olympic lifting.
Okay.
Olympic lifting is the snatch and the clean and jerk. It's this whole effing thing, dude. And to do the snatch correctly, dude, oh my God. It's like a nasty movement. And no, it's not a test of your physical fitness. It's kind of interesting if you want to go down that road, but it's not a test of your physical fitness. At least I don't think so.
So what would you have ChessDojo program members testing their VO2 max or something along those lines?
Well, the speed stuff and the endurance stuff would be tests of your VO2 max. So, for example, how fast can you run the 400 meters? That's a great test of your VO2 max. How fast is your mile? That's a great test. And then stamina is lifting heavy shit, and how long do you break down before you break down?
Host Mahogi has a good idea. He says if you change the ChessDojo Training Program into a religion, you can avoid taxes.
Alex is talking about max distance in 1 hour. Sure, that's another one.
Yeah.
And then I think, basic things like deadlift, squat, overhead press, those are all great measures of strength. And there's a variety of things you could, do for stamina, a variety of different workouts you could use. Stamina, different than endurance. A lot of people don't understand that, but it's definitely different. One is about your heart and one is about your muscles giving out.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that would be my take on an improved Beyond the Whiteboard. And Beyond the Whiteboard is focused. The problem with CrossFit that's happened is they've turned it into a thing that's based on like a competitive business. And so because they've made like the snatch and the clean and jerk as big part of the CrossFit games, most people doing CrossFit don't care about no games. They're just trying to get fit. But because of that, then they put the Beyond the Whiteboard gives that a big metric in terms of understanding how strong you are, right? In any case, I think if I did it the Chess Dojo way, it would be a lot simpler. Yeah.
Yeah, well, simplicity is complexity resolved, isn't it?
What's that?
Simplicity is complexity resolved.
That's a nice way of putting it, sure. Yeah. But anyways, the Beyond the Whiteboard app, it is cool. Like it gives what I like about it, and I want some way to do this in a similar way with chess, is that it gives me an overall percentile score of all those different things. And that way I can, it just gives me a metric where I'm like, okay, I can improve on this or I can go down. And any result you have only lasts for a year. So it's not, if you have a nice result, it's not going to last forever. And especially if you get older, you're like, oh, can I just maintain? Can I just maintain whatever like mile time I did or something, Yeah.
Would you ever consider starting a chess platform like Lichess or chess.com?
Where you could play games against each other, you mean?
Yeah.
Possible. The problem there was you need a lot of servers. This is what the dev people tell me, is that you need a lot of server space.
So you end up just using a Lichess API, right?
I guess, boss, But in any case, the dev team has told me that is a thought, but it would require a lot. And at the moment, actually, our big problem in Dojo Land is we have too many projects going on. That is our current problem. We got too many projects going on, and some of them like get done, but then they're not as cool as they could be. Whereas if we just focus on one at a time and then really did it right, then that's what we more need to do. Yeah. Mahogi says I need the servers and it ain't cheap. I agree. Yeah. Also, I don't feel like we have to reinvent the wheel with everything. What we have done, for example, is we've made ChessBase. We've made a much better version of ChessBase in a lot of ways, but we still need to improve it. And like those incremental improvements are a big thing. Or as an example right here, when this heat map is great and it's functioning well, but I want the dev team to change the white to whatever color, and we've agreed on this, but I want the dev team to change the white non-dojo to whatever it is. So if somebody did tactics there, I want it to be green but with a line through it. And that way I can get a visual representation. But of course it's going to take the dev team a second, Bobs. They can't just, change it immediately.
Oh no, Jesse, changing it from white to green with a line struck through it or a different shade of green. That doesn't take long. I mean,
well, hold on though, because what it would mean though, and hopefully it won't take that long, but it would mean that in the activity we get rid of non-dojo, and then in, let's say, tactics or something, when we go to his training plan, there'll be, let's say, tactics. There'll be a thing here which says something like custom or non-dojo activity down here.
Yeah, but you don't necessarily even need to get rid of a non-dojo pie chart, do you? You can still keep that.
No, we'll get rid of the non-dojo. And then the way it'll represent is over here. Let's say he did some tactics that were non-dojo. There would be a little sliver here, and it would have hash marks, but it would still be green. That way, on an instant, I can see that he's been doing non-dojo tactics. Right? And he can see it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you conclude? You said that if you did various things in one day, what would it show on the heat map?
At the moment, it's going to show the thing you did the most. And some of these, like this guy's just been doing one thing a day. Oh, actually, here you see, he did 40 minutes of non-dojo and 20 minutes games analysis.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted it to be a thing with, let's say in this case, it would be a little bit of white and a little bit of orange in proportion. But the dev people are like, no, boss, that doesn't work. And do I know why it doesn't work? No. But if they tell me it doesn't work, then I'm just not gonna do anything.
Well, you could just turn it into a bar chart.
Well, not on the heat map.
No, but each individual square would be its own bar.
Well, actually, what will probably happen is when you hover over it, it'll show you some kind of thing, yeah. But I'm trying to tell you that the box itself, they're saying, is impossible to do a bunch of different colors in there.
Okay.
All right, my man. Everybody, thank you very much. We are coming soon. Oh, we got a lot of things, Dojo Land happening. Have you got up to and Jamil, dude? He's been trying to. It's actually Jamil's. I was thinking about your quest. Let me just tell you guys Jamil's quest.
Mm-hmm.
So Jamil has never been good at blitz, and what's going on is he's hanging stuff, and so in the blitz games, and that tells me that his mind still doesn't really have a full grip on the board. And so an argument for blitz chess could actually be, hey, and Jamil could be a guinea pig in this way. Is it true that blitz chess could help you insofar as you get a grip on the board deep enough so you're not hanging stuff all the time? Anyway, so Jamil is trying to get to 1900 lead chess blitz, and I think 1900 lead chess is probably 500 or something like that. You know?
Okay, let me tell the story. So, I used to only play blitz before engaging Jesse, and Jesse banned me. So what I did was I play without telling him on somebody else's account. It was an employee of mine, and I got that account up to a peak rating of 2,000 or something. I was still much better at rapid and classical than blitz, although rapid was really the sweet spot for me. But then I stopped playing blitz altogether. I fired the employee, long story short. I didn't want Jesse seeing me play blitz on my account. And I thought, okay, let me play a game. And all of a sudden, it felt like I was a beginner again. So we're working on getting my blitz level back up to where it was at least.
That's because you're hanging stuff, but it has nothing to do with where it was. When you started that, your rating was hundreds of points lower than it is now.
No, I was 2,000 blitz when I was about, I don't know, 1,800 maybe, rapid chess comp. So 2,000 blitz lead chess. 1,800 chess comp. Rapid.
I'm looking you up now, buddy. We're testing.
That wasn't on my account. That was on Muscle.
Oh, I don't believe that. That's like when a teenager talks about the girlfriend he had at summer camp. You know, that's just a.
Well,
That's just a bunch of shit, dude.
search up his account then.
No, I don't want to search up his account. Yeah. At least you made a little bit of an improvement, dude. You know? Yeah.
I mean, we started this at the beginning of this week,
Yeah. There you go.
and I got what, 100 rating points up?
I
70?
guess so. I guess so. But basically, you've been hanging around this 1800 level, which is like, maybe what is that, 300? 300
Funny enough, I was speaking to, this other Russian guy that I do some work with.
Yeah.
I was telling him about it, and he told me, before I even told him what I was doing, I just told him I've been playing some Blitz, and he told me Blitz is only ever useful if you're being supervised by a much higher rated player,
Uh-huh.
and you talk about each game after you play it, and that's exactly what we're doing.
It's gonna end soon, buddy. It's gonna end soon.
It's gonna end soon. It's gonna end. This was just a Christmas gift. That's all.
Stop hanging stuff, Bows. That's right. All right, you guys. I gotta get out of here. This was fun. Do you have a favorite streamer you want us to rate, Jamil?
Who's online?
There are all kinds of chumps.
The only other chess stream. Oh no. Okay, there's two. There's Why So Serious, who's.
But I can't spell his name because it's too
It's
many
too hard.
Y's. If you tell me how many Y's there are in there, I will do it. But otherwise, my eyes
I'm not
break.
going to bother to count it. So.
Yeah, it's too hard. It's too
The
hard.
other person is Hannah Sace.
I'm not seeing her here though.
HANNAH.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh,
then SAYC.
we'll rate her, dude. Yeah, Hannah Sace. Why do you like her, man? I'm rating her now.
I don't even know who she is, but for whatever reason I follow her.
Is she cute? Is that why you follow her?
Absolutely not. I have a wife, Jesse. Thank you very much.
I'm just telling you, boss. Every time I look at a woman chess streamer, there's all these little dudes in the chat. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna rate her. I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, what you're not telling everyone is you're one of them.